Is that really how we're starting the podcast?
Yep.
Amateurs. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Gaming Perspective Podcast, episode 27. And we are short Mr. Eric Jackson tonight. He is out with his family enjoying a nice meal, I'm sure. So we wish him all the best, but I'm joined by the usual suspects and introducing the editor for the Inner Circle Games Network, Mr. Samuel Tolbert.
Hey everybody, it's good to be back. Good to be on another regular episode. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. So you know what? Let's get in. Let's get right in there.
And a writer for the Inner Circle Games Network, Jared.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Well, like Sam said, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get going.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting week this week in video games and everything else. We're just gonna breeze through what everyone's been playing. I haven't really been playing anything this week. My work's been super hectic and everything else, and I just really haven't been in the mood to play much. Watched a few movies. Yeah, that was about it, really. I haven't really done a lot of gaming this week. How about you guys? Sam, what have you been playing?
Dude, like you, I've been extremely busy making sure things and news and whatnot are flowing on the website. So it's been hectic. I haven't played a whole heck of a lot. Most of what I've been playing is Destiny 2 with Jared and Eric, our co-host, who is missing tonight. But it's okay. It's understandable. He had some stuff he had to take care of. We miss you greatly, Eric. But Destiny 2 has been a ton of fun. They've got a very spooky event going on right now with the haunted forest, and the tower is all done up with lanterns, and you can get a unique version of the origin story rifle, except it's called the horror story now, and it's a 600 power weapon, which needless to say makes it very, very desirable for those of us who are kind of hitting that soft wall trying to grind right now. So we've been working on that. Honestly, other than that, I told you guys I wrapped up Red Dead Redemption, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So beyond that, I really haven't been playing anything. That's pretty much been it. I've been busy, guys.
I hear you, man. I hear you on the busy part. Jared, what have you been playing, man?
Oh, I guess I've been a little bit of the opposite. Not too terribly busy, but I have been dabbling quite a bit in the new Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Playing recently, actually, quite a bit of the multiplayer, but I've had a good amount of time spent in Zombies and Blackout as well, and overall I've been coming away fairly impressed by it. I haven't picked up a Call of Duty game in years, probably since the first Black Ops. But this game is really kind of actually drumming back into the multiplayer aspect, and especially Blackout, because no matter what anyone says, I've played basically all the big three. I played PUBG, I played H1Z1, I've played Fortnite, and I've played Blackout. And honestly, Blackout really kind of stands out as a true polished AAA Battle Royale experience that really should be played. It's not something to take lightly anymore. I think the demand is going to keep going up quite substantially with this game more and more throughout the months to come. But that's basically it. That's all I got.
Yeah, shout out to Demigod and Chief Tommy, who've been spamming my Twitter feed with Call of Duty Black Ops footage and making me itch for that game like a recovering addict.
Man, I know you like PUBG, but honestly, I think if you were just able to buy, I wish they did this. I've been saying this for a long time, and I know you guys agree with me too. $20 per section. That's
dude,
it. If they did that,
they'd have me
raking in the money.
They'd have me right now. Instead, I'm waiting for Black Friday.
Right? Exactly. Now you got to wait for whatever time you actually want to be willing to spend that kind of money just to play one game mode sort of thing, which rarely anyone ever wants to. If they just sold it as its own section, Blackout, just sell Blackout on its own for $20, $25.
Hey, I pick up Zombies as well. I pick up Zombies and Blackout for $40. I have no interest in the multiplayer though. I'm sorry, I don't. I have too much regular multiplayer to play. I'm not. It doesn't even faze me. But Blackout and Zombies, oh yeah. Zombies are like, I used to go. Nick knows I used to go hard in Zombies. Black Ops 2 Zombies. Chief Tommy in the chat, he knows. Black Ops 2 Zombies was my jam.
you'd like it this time around because the levels are way more, well, at least a couple of them are way more streamlined, but they're just way more fun to interact with, and it's just I don't know, it just feels good when you're playing zombies. Like I've said before too, the AI bots, when you're playing solo, you're gonna play by yourself, or you can add bots with you to have a full squad. The AI bots, it's extremely hard to compete with them. Like, I thought I was good, but damn, these bots, I can't get first place. Like, I'm usually behind 100, 150 kills from the first place bot. They're awesome if you just want to play on your own. So it's really a nice, enjoyable experience to have if you want to play with friends on your own or co-op with someone on the couch, whatever. It's just so much fun.
I'll keep my eyes peeled around Black Friday. That's what I can promise you right now.
See, my problem is I'm looking at that multiplayer, man. That's what's killing me. It's I started I started heavy gaming because of Call of Duty. Like Modern Warfare 2 was my jam for so long, and then all the COD games all the way up till stopped playing Call of Duty heavy after Advanced Warfare. That's when I cut the cord, is after Advanced Warfare. I even played through Call of Duty Ghosts. Like I lived through that. I'm a Call of Duty Ghost survivor. But I don't know. I just know if I get back into it, I won't play anything else. And there's so many good games coming out, I don't want to miss it. Because my biggest problem with games, and you guys know it from me in PUBG, is if I turn on my Xbox, I'll be like, what do I want to play? And I sit there and I look at a bunch of games. I'm just like, yeah, I'll just play PUBG. It's fine. And that's my biggest problem, is because like some days I get home from work, I don't want to get super absorbed in something. I just want to play something and be good. So it's like, okay, well, whatever shooter I'm super into right now. And the main reason I enjoy playing PUBG so much is I can load up a solo game, and if I lose, it's my own fault. Whereas like team-based games, I can sit there and go 20-0 and still lose and be frustrated about it.
Yeah, you're getting kills like John Wick, left and right, headshot here, knife there, reload, and then your teammates are off in the corner. Yeah,
the rest of your teammates are Mr. Bean trying to run around and trying to be Johnny English. It just doesn't work.
Man, I love Black Ops 2 lobbies at like 4 o'clock in the morning on the weekends, and like kids would be screaming at me in Spanish because I'd be spam killing them in their spawn, and I could not for the life of me figuring out what they were calling me. It's probably not good things, but
probably
dropping dogs in swarms at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. What was my teenage life? Call of Duty. I'd actually buy the zombies and the multiplayer, and I just don't have interest in Blackout. I just
but again, make it modular, and there's something for everybody.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree with that. It's just, and I think if Call of Duty was super smart and they really wanted to take over the battle royale genre, sell Blackout for $20 because it's still cheaper than PUBG because PUBG's $30.
Yep.
And it has more depth.
It is the polished PUBG. It is the polished PUBG. I'll say it. It is. No, there's no lying. No lying.
Because there's no skill curve to gunplay in Call of Duty.
You haven't played the game, sir.
Sir, I played the beta. There's no gun skill to a Call of Duty game.
No, that's the beta. That does not count. You got to put in like a couple hours in the actual game.
I've been playing Call of Duty since I was like 3 feet tall. There has never ever been gunplay skill in Call of Duty.
That's different. It's different this time around. Blackout has its own gunfire characteristics. It's true. They really do.
Yeah, but
so when you play,
there's so much.
You gotta play it. You gotta play it, my friend.
No, I don't play first-person shooters where there's no lean function. This is 2011.
Oh, the pros play first person. The pros play first person.
Okay,
you know what,
all right,
Sam,
you two. All right,
please just take us on.
All right. So
continue.
Moving on.
Next.
Yeah, I was gonna say me and Jared are me and Jared are just gonna bicker for this whole thing. All right, so first things first. Delays.
Oh boy.
The word that instantly sends half of Twitter into an eruption of outrage and the other into a damage control state, depending on who's delaying what. And if it's a third-party publisher, nobody cares because it's fine because delays are good then. Let me just go on the record as saying I don't mind delays. Delays are fine as long as the game eventually comes out and it's worth playing at the end of the delays and the delays are worth it. Cool. And if you delay a game out of a specific period that's too heavy in other competitive games, it makes sense. We all knew coming into this that February 22nd, something had to budge.
Mm-hmm.
Something had to give. We had Crackdown 3, we had Metro Exodus, we had Days Gone, and we had Anthem all on the same day.
Oh, baby.
Like that is way too many games at once. Like spring is loaded this year. Like spring is absolutely loaded.
That was just February 22nd. All throughout spring, we've got Kingdom Hearts 3, the Resident Evil 2 remake. We've got Devil May Cry 5, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I mean, The Division 2. It's kind of ridiculous.
Like literally, this all spring is going to be is me spending all my Christmas money or anything I get for Christmas and reselling it so I can afford all these games in spring.
Yeah,
we got you this really nice thing for Christmas. I wonder how much I could get for this at pawn shop.
This is worth at least 3 games, maybe 4.
Oh, we got this nice couch. I could third party sell this for a good price.
So in the game of chicken that was February 22nd, someone respectfully bowed out, and it's completely understandable.
Yeah,
honestly.
So Days Gone took a delay. Sony Ben came out and said that they were delaying Days Gone to April 26th, I believe.
A couple months.
Yeah, 2 months. I was actually kind of surprised they did 2 months. I kind of thought they'd just bump it to March and play it that way. But I think April's a really good time frame for the game because there's not really a whole lot of anything right now in April.
Right. It's not like, I mean, A, it's not like there's 3 other games coming out on the exact same day for starters. And B, please correct me if I'm wrong. There's nothing currently scheduled for April, right?
Not that I can really think of.
If it's taking that long, there's nothing big. There might be a couple of indie games, but if it has that month to itself, Sony, if you look at the past couple of years, has done extraordinarily well with marketing something in the early stages of the year when it is by itself. You know, if they can get a game in a couple of weeks there where there's nothing else going on, then they can really ramp up the marketing. It is the spotlight. It doesn't have to share the spotlight with anything else. And it does really well. Horizon Zero Dawn, did exceptionally well for a new IP and for Guerrilla Games there. God of War, I mean, good God. God of War has been a behemoth with legs there, but it started off exceptionally strong there. So I think as long as it stays that there's nothing else there, Days Gone has an opportunity to do extraordinarily well there.
Yeah, I agree. And I think with a new game like Days Gone, because I think they need a good solid month of marketing.
They do. Go ahead. It's fine.
Brandon Murphy's going to either disagree with me heavy on this or agree with me heavy on this. They need to spend a month of marketing this game of why this game is nothing like The Last of Us.
Yes, because to the casual audience, like if you play it, and I have played it, I'm the only one. I'll keep shouting this from the rooftops. I'm the only one I know on try number 1. So booyah. But the evidence is on PlayStation Braw's channel. So there you go. But
I've seen it.
Casual audience, they might think, okay, so it's The Walking Dead, or okay, so it's The Last of Us, or okay, so it's like, and you need to cut that notion out. You need to understand why it's different. The horde tech, the massive freaker hordes and Nest being the main focus, maintaining the motorbike, things like that. That's not simple to do. They do need to explain, hey, this isn't the same thing. This is Oregon. This is not Georgia. This is not metropolitan area. It's lots of rivers, wolves, hunting, a lot of smaller, tight-knit communities, that type of thing that sort of founded the state. That's the idea behind it. That's what I've gotten away from it watching the interviews. I followed this game extensively, and I'm not going to lie, they do have a challenge ahead of them. in terms of making sure the marketing is on point there, because zombie games, in quotation marks, are a dime a dozen. But that doesn't mean it's not going to change my enjoyment of it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And actually, Dizzy in the chat brought up a good point of being a zombie game. Do you think they were more worried about the Resident Evil 2 remaster than February 22nd?
No, they were more worried about the fact that there were 3 other games coming out on the exact same day. Like,
and let's be honest though, like they're not small games either. It's Crackdown 3. Like if things of what we're hearing are true, that's going to be a pretty substantial game. Metro Exodus, that's going to be a massive game. That's like, it looks great. And then you got Days Gone as well. Then Anthem. Like, these aren't small games to compete against. You got to spread them out a little bit.
yeah, I mean, it's like I said on Twitter, you know, the fact is, like, there's no shame in bowing out of that contest. I guarantee you're going to see a couple of others move as well until there's only one game left on that day. Honestly.
Yeah, and
like
and I got
that was the we're scared of Red Dead Redemption 2 and delaying out of the Fall Club, and we're not ashamed to admit it. But then everybody picked the exact same day. And Brandon, since you're in chat, I have to ask: did you all have a meeting about this, or has there been any poking fun in DMs about this? I need to know, because I have never seen 4 companies pick the exact same day for 4 different games that all got delayed out of the fall. It really was incredible to watch, I have to say, on a funny sense.
Like, oh, crap.
But yeah,
really?
so
do this now.
Yeah, but
why?
I mean,
why?
in summary, and here's another thing, by the way, I want to touch on this. I know I've been going for a bit, but oh well. You're going to hear me a little more. The fact is, with all the stories of crunch and people coming out about that now, and we're finding out, you know, some of the stuff going on at Rockstar Games and a couple of other studios and things like that, this is why developers, like some of the more negative reactions, let me back up, some of the more negative reactions to the Days Gone delay, that's why developers are crunching. That's one of the reasons why, and they shouldn't be. Like, if you need to take time, okay, don't kill yourself, okay? You know, hey, have extra time to polish the game, have extra time to tune things up or stuff like that. You don't need to destroy yourselves and stay away from your family chained to your desk just to make sure a video game is done by a specific date. Now, I know it's not that simple. I know there's other things that come into it, budgets, marketing budgets, allocations for that financial quarter. That was a very simplified, optimistic, wishy-washy version. But even with that in mind, if you see something like this happen, be open to it happening. Okay? Be open to it. It's like, okay, cool. Because you know what? You weren't going to play all those games on that day anyways. Now you can pick one of them and play that, and then play something in March, and then, you know, Days Gone has April to itself. And that works out. So there you go.
Well, the thing is, especially, this is specific for Days Gone. And you can dig through my Twitter history. I will never say anything negative about the amount of time it took Sony Bend to make Days Gone, because they were pretty much strictly a handheld developer for a very long time. They made some really great games on the PSP and the PS Vita. They made some awesome games. And like, it's been a while since they did a console game. A lot has changed since the Siphon Filter series. A lot has changed. And the amount of tech they're trying to put into this game with the freakers and everything else. And just it's not just going to magically poof, and they basically started from the ground up. And if it took them more time to get it done, I get that. And the fact that they want to deliver a really unique experience, especially in a genre that is very baked in with not a lot of creativity. Like, the zombie genre feels very bland a lot of the time. There is exceptions, things like Dying Light find unique ways of, and like Dying Light 2 is a perfect example of games progressing more than just being a zombie game. I think that's what Sony Bend wants to do with Days Gone. But the thing is it needs to release at a good time. It has to have a good marketing campaign. And there's a lot of aspects that go into it. And I have a lot of faith that this game will do well, just in the fact that Sony has done a phenomenal job to this generation, making sure that their games get the shine they need and they launch in a window that is most opportune for their success.
Well,
I think,
unless your name is Drive Club. But
okay, well,
sorry, Brandon. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, but
nobody cared about Drive Club. It's
I
fine.
have not forgiven what happened to Evolution. Okay, that hurt. It hurt deep. Okay, it got deep on me. But yeah, my snarkery aside, I agree with what you're saying, especially pointing to, like, again, with Guerrilla Games and Horizon Zero Dawn. They've handled that very, very well. I agree.
Yeah, and some new IPs sell themselves. An example, Anthem is an easy sell to a casual audience.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mechs. Yeah. Ha! Cool. It's like if you were Iron Man and you had shooty guns. Yeah, that's a really easy sell to bro gamers.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hey.
I know Jared feels attacked right now. But the thing is there's some games that are harder to market to a wide audience. I think you're going to see this with Metro Exodus is a game that's going to be a really hard market. I don't know why, because it looks like a brilliant game.
Yeah, it sucks. Those games have never gotten the recognition they deserved or the sales. Like, they're regularly dirt cheap, and it sucks because they're so good.
The thing is the Metro games are so good, but almost everyone I knew bought them on $5 deals.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a travesty.
Which breaks my heart. But I think when all is said and done, like, delays are fine. I'm okay with delays as long as the game eventually comes out. I would love we don't have like a Star Citizen scenario where you're asking for more money every year.
We funded you $25 million, and we're still waiting 9 years later for a beta.
But we got this cool trailer with a bunch of celebrities. Oh, that's where all the money went.
Oh, but we saw that remixed 5 years ago.
Yeah, pretty much. But the thing is like, delays are fine, especially if it gives the game room to breathe. And I think Sony Bend has something special on their hands. I don't think any of these games that are scheduled for February 22nd are actually going to come out February 22nd.
Yo, you don't think any of them will?
No, I think Metro is going to get bumped a bit. I think Crackdown 3, which isn't confirmed because they're saying, oh, we never confirmed a release date, even though Aaron Greenberg said...
Yeah, that's utter nonsense, by the way, because I saw you guys write the article 2 minutes after the news went out. Like, that's utter nonsense, but anyways.
So, Crackdown's moving, Days Gone's moved. I don't think Anthem's going to be ready. Call me wrong. Huh? I think it's going to get a short delay, very similar to Battlefield did. And Metro Exodus will be the wild card whether it launches or not. I think if Anthem gets delayed, Metro will stay. But if Anthem stays, I think Metro will move.
Okay, I'm not sure I agree, but I'll say this. Okay, I won't lie. That would be funny. Metro being the one that would, let's be honest here, probably have the lowest sales potential out of all 4 games, being the only one to actually make that date and doing fine because it's by itself. That would actually be really funny to watch now that I'm thinking about it. The issue is for Anthem, where are they going to move it? The fall again?
They could sell that as a summer game. That'd be a really easy summer game sale.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not convinced on the idea of Anthem moving, honestly.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of progress in that game. I've been watching a lot of progress. That game is being played from start to finish by the developers right now in a basically almost finished state. They're basically ready to go gold. They're just biding their time right now until launch date.
Yeah, but the thing is I'll always take the whole
3 hours I could be in Bioware
we can play the game start to finish thing is just absolutely so annoying to me. I'm so sick of hearing that from developers. We can play the game start to finish, but there's a million bugs in between that.
Yeah. I wish developers would stop using that as an example. It doesn't mean anything, especially because you don't know what that means for the game. Different games have different development cycles. They focus on different things. Like, for example, with God of War, what they did is they ended up working in separate teams. Sony Santa Monica was divided in different teams, working on different chunks. And the way everything came together everyone kind of wrapped up development at the same time. That's borderline miraculous and never really happens in practice. So.
Well, and I remember too is when God of
and
War, they said you could play God of War front to back, and Brandon will correct me if I'm absolutely wrong on this. It was another 9 months after that before we got the game in our hands.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost 9 months to a year.
Don't look into that. That's not a good thing to go off of.
Yeah, and the thing is like Anthem has a beta too. Don't they have a beta that's supposed to be coming out eventually, Jared?
Next in the springtime, as far as I know. Closer to launch to prepare the servers.
Okay, so basically it'll be very similar to what Fallout 76 is doing with their beta. Here, try it the game before. Break it. So yeah, that's delays are fine. Days Gone will do better now that it's moved. I kind of hope Metro moves into a better spot personally.
We'll see. It's not like they can really move into March safely, if we're being honest here. Like,
it's the same thing. I talked with a friend, and we were talking about Crackdown 3, and he's like, well, if it's already finished and they're just polishing, they could move it back, like release it sooner. I said, you don't want to go back further because there's bigger games back. You're kind of stuck in this awkward position of, do you want to move closer to Kingdom Hearts 3 and Resident Evil and Sekiro and...
Right.
You're kind of in like a delay sandwich right now. Like you either got to delay into the summer, or you've got to just try to hit your launch date. It's insane the amount of games that are coming out. So we're actually going to talk a little bit about 2019 as a whole, because there's a lot of games coming out in 2019. So we're going to just go through some games, and we're going to talk. Are you interested in it?
So basically going through like what we're each picking up from what we like the list.
I'm going to list the game. If you guys are interested, we'll talk about it. If you guys aren't interested, we'll move on. Make sense?
Sounds good.
All right.
We've kind of touched on Anthem. We kind of touched on Days Gone. We've touched on all the February 22nd games. So Devil May Cry 5. Anyone?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Maybe not quite at launch. Maybe not. But I'm definitely very interested. Definitely.
Same boat. I've never really played much of the Devil May Cry games, so like, as I can't speak from like I'm a fan sort of thing, but as
it looks cool,
how good, it looks cool, looks fun, looks that hack and slash kind of feeling you can only really get in maybe Darksiders coming out anytime soon. But it's meh.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in the game, and shout out to Bagaria on Twitter. I was thinking about playing the Devil May Cry remakes, the 1, 2. They're available through Game Pass, I think, or whatever. And I'm actually gonna skip playing them because apparently they're dated and they're absolutely terrible. So I'm just gonna go to Devil May Cry 5 blind and hope for the best.
All right, there you go.
It looks interesting. It looks really weird. There's so much in that game that's so weird, but it kind of caught my interest. So I'm kind of there for it.
Well, I mean, anyone who watched the E3 presentation cannot say that it didn't make an impact. What that means is up to you, but it absolutely made an impact.
I know this will be one really close to Sam's heart. Control from Remedy.
Yeah, I have no idea when it's coming out, and I don't care. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a Remedy fan. Okay, I love Alan Wake. Quantum Break was a good game, and I will be dragged down by 100 horses screaming that. Okay, so I will not relent. I will not relent. So Control looks really, really good. It's easily their most ambitious game yet. I saw quite a bit of that behind the scenes at E3, and they've got some crazy stuff they're cooking up.
Yeah, see, Controlled for me looks like what Quantum Break should have been.
You can't bait me.
To an extent, yes, but I'm pretty excited for Control as well. It's that weird kind of intense game that no one really tends to dabble in. That it seems Remedy's really good at doing. So,
look, I will say
I'm excited.
I will say this: I'm excited for Control. And I will say what Sam says. My biggest problem with Quantum Break was just the ending. The final boss fight was bad. And I felt like by the time I unlocked everything, it was the end of the game. I just wanted the game to be a little bit longer because I wanted to revel in those time powers for just a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's fair. Actually, that's completely fair.
My criticism of Quantum Break was just the length. And the powers were really cool. That I could have done without some of the platforming time stuff. That was kind of take it or leave it. It was kind of cool, but kind of annoying. But it wasn't a bad game. I need to somehow get my hands on Alan Wake because everyone keeps telling me how good of a game that was.
It's good. Yeah, it's good, especially since it's October. It's a good horror game to play. Now is the perfect time. You got backwards compatibility. Man, you're set. You just got to pick it up.
Yeah. I'll check out Control just because I respect the work Remedy does. They're one of those highly technical, story-based studios that does a lot of unique things, and they're really ambitious. So I really want to support them.
Mm-hmm. And now, when do we think that's releasing? Because that actually doesn't even have a release window. I would know if it did.
I would like next year. I would like for it to be.
Okay. Excuse me. It has a window of 2019. They're saying 2019. I'm saying it doesn't have like a spring, summer, fall, winter. That's what I mean by a window.
Sorry. Yeah.
You think it's a fall game?
Yeah.
Maybe like August. I could do like August. I'd be okay
I think
with
it's going to release at that tail end where you start getting into the fall, like holiday territory. I think August is a great time to release a game if you're a new IP.
It is, especially because nothing comes out in July or August.
I'm starting to think December is going to be to release a game too, because literally besides Smash, nothing's releasing in December this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's
true. Everyone's avoiding the actual holiday, which blows my mind because it used to be the complete opposite back a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. So, and there's not much after Sekiro next year. There's really not much coming after that as well that we know of.
Well,
nothing confirmed at least.
For now, that's going to change.
Exactly. But I mean, we have got all that space open right now.
Okay, so Control. People are cool with Control. I'm with Control. Skull and Bones from Ubisoft, supposed to be coming out in 2019. It was supposed to come out this year. Any interest?
Yes. I'm interested because I've actually always really liked the naval combat which originally happened in Black Flag, but from playing Odyssey now, dude, it's gonna be sweet. Especially with their focus on it's just pure ship-to-ship battle. The amount of customization and the stuff you'll be able to do in that game, I suspect will be pretty substantial. So it should be a lot of fun. I think if they do it right, it could really make a good splash in maybe competitive sports arenas. You never know.
I mean, here's the thing. I like pirate combat. I love pirate combat. I don't care for it just for a fleet simulator to be $60. I need to see more of it. They haven't actually showed a ton beyond the battles. And it's like a multiplayer battle or a campaign battle. It's cool. It looks really good. It just doesn't look $60 at launch good to me. I need to see more. They're going to be mythical creatures like they hinted at in the 2017 reveal, but then never showed any more of that at all. Is that actually happening? Is there going to be any other stuff? Can you get off of your ship and talk to other pirates, form alliances? I need to learn more about it because just the foundation of what I've seen is cool, but not $60 cool.
Well, for me with Skull and Bones falls into that area of Ubisoft games I just don't have an interest in, like the Division, For Honor. I'm going to try out For Honor this week.
It's underrated.
But the thing is that it doesn't. It looks like it's going to have the same problem Sea of Thieves has. Okay, it's okay. You're going to grind and kill people and everything else to get cosmetics. Okay, cool. I don't care. It's
a multiplayer game.
I don't care if it's a multiplayer
like that.
I know,
all multiplayer games are like that.
I know. But the thing is that it's goddamn. It's gonna be 2019, and this is the same thing I said with my problem when I complain about Sea of Thieves. It's 2019, and you're trying to pitch me a game that's built like a 2011 MMO with a reward system, and that's just not. It just doesn't interest me anymore. It needs to be more interesting. The thing with Skull and Bones is it looks like just looks generic as hell. And I hate ship combat in Assassin's Creed. It's the worst thing they ever did in the franchise. When are you guys going to just learn that I hate everything everyone else likes?
That's not true because you and I both love Bethesda games.
Yes, well, that's because Bethesda's the only studio that makes good games.
Okay, Nick, we were with you. Okay, all right. Pick another one. Like the jury is out. The jury is out on Skull and Bones. We'll put it like that. Okay.
One of my, we're going to talk a little bit about one of my most anticipated games of 2019, Rage 2. See, it feels feels so weird coming out of my mouth that I'm hyped for the sequel of one of the most disappointing games of the last generation. It's such Rage 2. It just feels like an abomination coming out of my mouth.
Feels like a paradox, right? Feels like, wait, why am I saying this?
Why are these two words combining into one? But no,
of all the games to get sequels that we thought died in the 360 PS3 gen. Wow. Yeah.
Look, Avalanche Studios making it, and they made that awesome Mad Max game. And there's driving in Rage 2, and it looks amazing. The vehicle combat looks amazing. And they've got ID Software, who are the gods of the FPS genre. I will fist fight anyone who disagrees with me about ID Software.
Mm-hmm.
ID Software is what made FPS games what they are today. And you put those two together, that game looks amazing. It's like, it's a multifaceted loot shooter and a deserted world. Borderlands, what? Who cares? That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
No one cares about Borderlands anymore, Gearbox.
Well, fighting words, bud.
I mean, I'm not going to go quite that far. Like, dude, people have been begging for Borderlands 3, but okay. But I will say this. They're taking their sweet time. They're taking their sweet time getting around to that game, and Rage 2 could take some of the audience away. Fun fact, I actually liked the original Rage. I'll go duck and cover if I need to, but I like the foundation. The plot is terrible. Make no mistake, the plot and the characters are mind-numbingly awful, but the combat is really good. It's that id Tech combat, that id Software combat, and it ran at a perfect 60 frames per second. It was really smooth. The vehicles felt fun. The wing sticks were awesome. So taking those bits of DNA from the first game that worked and just making it absolutely crazy, taking in the direction of Mad Max, which, again, like you said, given the studio making it, that works. Yeah, I'm all for it. I am absolutely all for Rage 2. When do we think that's coming out?
Spring.
That doesn't have a window, does it?
I think it has a spring 2019 window. Let me check. Yeah, it's set to release quarter 1 or quarter 2 2019.
Okay. So that's probably like
why?
That's probably a May game. Thinking about.
Can we have a break from games?
No.
Come on.
Don't stop
being so basic, Jared.
Oh my God.
Nope. Prepare your wallet. Your wallet.
First world problems.
Yeah. So Rage 2, I think that's a universal thumbs up.
Oh yes, definitely. That's an undoubted, undeniable buy.
What else have you got for us?
Hold on, sorry. Sorry, I was watching Rage 2 gameplay. So who wants to all have a collective laugh at the idea of Shenmue 3?
Oh boy.
No.
I have got nothing to say about Shenmue. I got nothing.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
No. Next.
No.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So good. I'm something the whole panel agrees on. This is amazing. This is one just for me because I'm never going to shut up about this game. Trials Rising.
Meh.
Because y'all don't play actual good games.
What's Trials Rising?
Jared plays Call of Duty and Sam thinks Quantum Break's a good game. That's all.
And you are looking forward to Trials Rising. So I mean, we're at a standoff,
sir. It's going to switch to Firestorm from Battlefield 5 when that comes out, sir.
Oh, yeah, Battlefield 5. With your unrealistic whamming on the battlefield. Okay, we're moving on. I just want to clarify so no one takes that sound bit out of context. I just don't have an interest in Battlefield games after 1. They haven't impressed me with what they showed of Battlefield 5. They can add, I don't care if they add flying ducks to the game. It's still not going to make it interesting enough for me.
You would love it because you'd pretend it would be Duck Hunt.
Oh my god! I literally I'll play it when it goes to EA Access after it flops 4 months later.
Oh man! Move on.
Sekiro.
Oh yeah,
yes.
I'm a From Software dude, so yeah.
Yeah, me too. So that's a definite yes. Yeah, Dark Souls fan, you guys know me. Hardcore yes.
Yeah, so Sekiro, I'm pretty sure almost everyone in our podcast actually ordered the collector's edition.
Yes, actually, which is a first. No, I kept track. It's a first. All 4 of us have grabbed that one. And the collector's edition is that. Hey, I mean, look, it's $99 $89, and you get the steelbook and the statue and stuff. Like, I mean, come on, that steelbook is just it's good. It looks really, really good. So yeah, absolutely, day one.
You know what? I'm just having a warm and fuzzy moment right now because they're talking about Mafia 3 in the chat. And I'm having a warm and fuzzy moment because literally I've been looking for an excuse to replay that game because I love the story so much and all the political overtones and everything. It's such a great game. It's a shame it suffered greatly from repetitive open world syndrome. It's a real damn shame. Still a great game. I don't care. I don't even care. Okay, see, there's some games. I'm looking at this list of 2019 games, and I feel like they should be put in a column of wishful thinking.
Like what? What do you mean?
In the Valley of Gods.
Uh-huh. Oh, that you mean that game that got a teaser at the Game Awards last year, and we haven't seen hide nor hair of it since?
Yeah, Campo Santo's game where they showed off that amazing water tech, where they were like, look at our water when like Sea of Thieves came out. They're like, look at our water. The thing is everyone's excited for this game, and it's not even slated for console. So it's like I'm looking at the listing right now. It's listed for PC. That's it. So yeah. Other games are on this list. Psychonauts 2. The Surge 2. Which with
yes.
I'll pay attention to it. I'm not picking it up at launch, but the Surge actually wasn't awful. Like it was a decent attempt at separating itself from being a Dark Souls clone, so I'll keep an eye on it.
Yes. Definitely.
Like well, there's Kingdom Hearts 3. Anyone who doesn't buy that on this podcast, I will personally drive to your house and slap you.
Okay, come on over because I'm probably not going to buy that game.
Yeah, you're going to need to. Yeah, you're going to need to slap me.
I've shaken my head so damn much right now, but
it's I might get it on sale when it's like 80% off, sort of thing.
Bruh, it ain't ever going on sale. That's a classic. That's gonna be $60 until I die.
After it flops after 4 months, just
moving on.
I just the audacity of this podcast never. That just it blows my mind some days. They've got on this list. They've got Cyberpunk 2077.
Good one. Actually, you know what? It's not impossible. I think it's a 2020 game, but that's actually not impossible. But
it's not
still.
Well, there was all that thing. There was all that financial thing, all that financial information that came out, and all this like digital information that's come out pointing to like a Q3 release date in 2019. But considering they just showed off 45 minutes of gameplay and they said they're still optimizing the game and working on a bunch of stuff, I can't see it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Now we're going to get into debate territory here.
What?
Uh-oh.
I feel bad because Brandon's in the chat. So,
Uh-oh.
does anyone actually think The Last of Us Part 2 is coming out in 2019?
No, it's not, and I've been saying it won't for quite some time. Thank you.
It's not.
I'm sorry. But we know it's not.
Look, I always maintained that The Last of Us Part 2 was going to be a cross-gen title, and it's smart to do it that way. It worked really well for The Last of Us. It was a really smart move. And it's a great title to have at the end of PS4, but those that jump on PS5 day one, having a solid game like The Last of Us Part 2, that's a really smart move. And it gives Naughty Dog a lot of time to get that game to where they want it to be. But when PlayStation Bra says that it's not coming in 2019, that's when I know that me sitting there, because I always have this like high doubt range when it comes to when video games will come out. But when one of my PlayStation homies is talking about it like that, I feel it. So Last of Us Part 2, general consensus, if it happens, cool. This is one of those things, I want to clarify this before we get into this. It's just a disclaimer, so to speak. It's not bad if it doesn't come in 2019. They don't have release windows for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I can't believe I need to say this, but I suppose with the way people are nowadays, Naughty Dog knows what they're doing, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, they know what the pressure is on, and based on what we saw at E3, I mean, come on. Do I actually have to say anything else? They'll deliver it when it's good and ready. I just refuse to believe that it'll be good and ready in 2019.
And see, for me, with the whole PlayStation lineup, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us Part 2, I'm day one on all those games. If they have collector's editions, I'm there.
Oh, definitely.
Do I think they're all going to hit 2019? I think the most likely that's going to hit 2019 is Ghost of Tsushima.
Agreed, by far. But I can see that happening. Absolutely.
I can see that happening, and nice. That's awesome. And Brandon, if you can pass it along to them to make a really super dope collector's edition, you'd be a rock star, buddy.
And not super expensive.
Well, let's not get too complicated here. I got the money. I'll pay for it. It's fine.
Don't listen to him.
Ghost of Tsushima looks amazing. I'm so day one on that game. It's what I want Assassin's Creed to do for the past decade. Last of Us Part 2. I'm excited to see where they're going to take the story. I'm excited to see where that game's going to go. I'm so excited. I'm to the point with The Last of Us Part 2 now that I'm almost going to do what I did with God of War. I might stop watching trailers and only handle news if I have to write it up or something. Because
absolutely.
Because I went into God of War only watching that initial E3 reveal.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got into that game, it was so good. So there's just some games that I don't want to see a lot of. Last of Us Part 2. I'm actually starting to think, like with Death Stranding, I don't want to see any more of it. I just want to play it. I don't want to see it. Just let me play it. I want to play the Kojimbles game, as Al would call it.
the Kojimbles game. Dude, that's not right. Come on. That's not right.
I know it's not right. I really enjoy Hideo Kojima. Metal Gear Solid is one of my all-time favorite franchises. I've made fun of Death Stranding endlessly. My favorite thing that went around was running to Sony's E3 conference, and they had that video of Norman Reedus running up that hill from the Death Stranding E3 trailer. That really janky walking animation they had.
Oh wow!
The game looks interesting. I still can't figure it out because I'm dumb.
It's not that complicated.
I know you keep telling me that, but I watch the trailers and I just get more confused because I'm a dumb person.
Well,
I'm
no.
dumb. I'm dumb and say outrageous things on YouTube. I'm the 98% of the YouTube content creator demographic. Okay.
All right, now we're just
jeez.
being absurd. We've descended into complete absurdist territory, and for some reason, I'm tethered to it.
But I'm really excited for the game because it's really it's a step in a different direction for Kojima,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something he's doing on his own. Is it going to take a long time? Probably. Is it going to be worth it when it comes out? I don't know, but I know damn well every time I look at Death Stranding, I get mad because I think about what that Silent Hill game could have been.
Oh, why'd you have to go there?
Don't,
That ain't right.
Yeah, why?
I'm pretty sure that we're legally required to beat you up for bringing up Silent Hills. Like that's
Nick,
okay.
Listen,
You want to talk about things that will
why?
never be forgiven? I'm sorry. That's just
No, I was
Konami. What the heck?
little
in the
story
bushes
today.
you go.
I was scrolling through my Twitter feed, and someone retweeted into my feed, Pyramid Head makes an appearance. I was like, what? And it was like a limited edition mode in Metal Gear Survive. I almost threw my whole desk out the window.
You're kidding.
I was so mad. They're bringing his head in as like a microtransaction loot box reward or something. And I got so unexplainably mad about it. I literally like stormed around my house for 5 minutes and like my daughter was like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "This isn't right."
I will not stand for this.
Blasphemous.
Okay, so moving on from our gaping heart wounds.
Yeah.
There's one game late for you to mention. One game.
Yeah, so
one game.
the way I'm approaching Sony's lineup is all of it has to come out before PS5 comes out. Or they have to be cross-gen titles. We're going to tackle this. I told everyone I even went back on episode 8. I said I would not talk about PS5. I would not talk about wherever the hell Xbox 2 or whatever the hell that we're going to call it. Mm-hmm. Scarlet. If they don't market it with Scarlett Johansson, it's a failed marketing ploy. But the thing is there's these wing nuts. I use the term wing nuts because there's some people I'm really good friends with that are going around saying this nonsense that are saying, well, PS5's going to release in 2019. And I'm sitting there going, you really think that Sony went through all this marketing with The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding to release a new damn console before those games come out? Or do you think in your mind, and I asked somebody this, I'm like, so you think they've been showing all these games as PS4 games, they're going to drop PS5 and be like, oh, now you can buy these games for your PS5. And he's like, well, no, they're all going to come out before the PS5 launches in summer 2019. I was like, you are so inexplicably stupid. I can't even.
Jeez.
Like, yeah, they're going to drop Death Stranding, Last of Us Part 2, and Ghost of Tsushima all in the first 6 months of 2019.
That's not happening.
I'm just like,
not happening.
I want what this guy's smoking.
Yeah,
the drug.
I hate even bringing up. I don't like talking about next gen this early. I really don't. But there's a disturbing number of YouTubers. You're absolutely right. Who are jumping on this nonsense. There really is. But yeah, it's not happening. Move on. End of the discussion.
Yeah, and it's hilarious too because the main reason everyone's jumping on the PS5 train, and I believe Sam, you wrote the news article for this, or if you didn't because you thought it wasn't worth writing up, was that job position for marketing for a next gen console.
I did not write anything of the sort. No,
I kind of figured you'd avoid it. And they're hiring for a marketing manager basically to head up a campaign.
Mm-hmm.
If you do any sort of work in marketing, if you think you're marketing a product for spring or summer 2019, you're just hiring a manager to head up that project now.
Yeah, that's not happening.
You're kind of brain dead.
Yeah, like, come on. Like, and there was a couple of great people in the MPD thread. Shout out to Benji. That's his username. I actually follow him on Twitter. He's on Twitter. He does great breakdowns of NPD sales and game sales, things like that. Has some inside information. And he pointed out, like, they're hiring for a lead position. that means that there is no plan in place except for like a couple of bullet points right now. Like, and that does not mean the PS5 isn't in production. Of course, they're working on it. Mark Cerny has his engineers on it. That's not the point. The point is there's no way it's coming out in 2019. It's impossible. It's not happening on the games front, and it's not happening on the marketing front. Frankly, they're going to have to get their rears in gear to get it ready for 2020, which, and I do believe they will. I believe they'll handle that. Sony has an incredible production pipeline with everything they handle there. Their marketing teams are great. But the point is, if that's a crunch to get done, 2019 is not happening. It's not. Please move on from this.
And see, the thing is, too, is what blows my mind about this is people are like, oh, well, they're obviously working on it. Anyone remember back, I think it was like back at the launch of PS4 and Xbox One, and people asked, Ybarra made a quote and Cerny made a quote, separate quotes on basically the same question. When do you guys start working towards next gen? And basically both said almost parroted each other in the sense of as soon as you launch one, you start working on the next step.
Right, exactly. Work begins, but that doesn't mean
there's a lot that has to happen for these next gen consoles. And I think the main thing I don't want to see with this generation of consoles is I don't want to see a need for a mid-gen refresh again.
No. Absolutely. Like, let's be realistic here. The Xbox One and the what was it? And the PS4. Wow, that was a brain fart. Good grief. The Xbox One and the PS4 both kind of launched underpowered and underspecced. They did. They both launched kind of underspecced for what they were, and that made the mid-gen refresh and the rise of 4K and HDR more palatable. Let's not go through that again.
My biggest problem with PS4 and Xbox One wasn't because I've never been it has to be 1080p, or I'm not a graphics nerd. Like I acknowledge a good looking game, but it's not like a key point to me. Is this 1080p? Is this 1440? Is this 4K? That's never really been my thing. My biggest problem for Xbox One and PS4 is for the first year when they launched those consoles, they really give me a reason to buy one.
I mean, the best reasons were third party. Yeah. Honestly, like a Black Flag. I mean, I know that was cross-gen, but it looked way better on the next gen at the time systems. Shadow of Mordor, which might as well have not had a PS3 or 360 version, considering how awful they were. You know, Dragon Age Inquisition. Like, the third parties were the reason.
It's true. It's true. Not a lot of first parties actually stood out, other than, you know, cross-gen The Last of Us, for me at least. But even then, you go, oh, I already played it on the PS3. I don't really have much reason to play on the PS4, unless I feel like playing it through again on a better looking version. But yeah, there really wasn't a lot that really stood out at the start of both the consoles generations.
Nick, did we lose Nick?
Yeah, no, sorry, I cut out there. I completely dropped my internet for like a solid 20 seconds. The Hangout didn't dip, did it?
Nope.
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as the Hangout can keep going without me being functional.
You're functional?
Well, I'm somewhat functional. The main reason, and people can call me a fanboy or whatever, the main reason I bought an Xbox One over a PS4 at the start of the gen, well, I didn't even buy it at the start of the gen. I bought my Xbox One used, okay? I was broke. I think I was working part-time at a grocery store living on my own with my girlfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have a lot of money. And we were about to have my first daughter. My 360 was starting to act a little funky. I knew I needed to upgrade. PS4s, there wasn't a lot of used PS4s flowing around at the time. There wasn't any games really pulling me in. All my friends were still on Xbox. So I picked up a used Xbox One, like the OG Xbox One, for like $200 or something. And the main reason I wanted to upgrade was Sunset Overdrive, because that was one of the first games, because I told myself I'd upgrade to next gen when they stopped releasing games on 360, basically, and they started making exclusively next gen games, because at the start a lot of the games were playable on 360 or PS3. They weren't great by any means, and like games like Rise and things like that you can play on Xbox 360 for obvious reasons. But Sunset Overdrive sold me. I'm like, this is what a next generation game should look like. That's what sold me on Xbox One right off the hop. Ironically, I've still never beaten Sunset Overdrive, and I played it very little, if you want the irony department. But it's what sold me on it. And I think with this generation, I think Microsoft and Sony have both learned from their mistakes at the start of the gen. I use mistakes. I hate how everyone takes it as you're dunking on a company when you say they made mistakes. Sony had a really good back half of this generation. They relied on third party through the first half, and then they have had amazing games in the second half. Whereas Microsoft came out heavy with not necessarily all amazing games, but there were some really good games at the start, and then they petered off midway point, where you could really tell where Matrick left off, and then Phil Spencer took over, and then there was this gap. Very noticeable, and it's part of the reason the Xbox One has been so cripplingly behind the PlayStation. I think Microsoft has learned from that. I think Sony also realized that they necessarily can't rely on third party for them to sell their console again. So I think you're going to see insane launch titles on both these consoles when they come.
I've always been thinking, I've always thought to myself, but also kind of had a stinking feeling that the start of next generation and probably into mid-generation or all throughout the whole of the next generation, that it'll be like a battle of first-party studios to see who can pump out the best content for what they can do and what they can showcase and what kind of games they can create, because we're getting to a point where we're getting games like Red Dead Redemption 2 and Cyberpunk 2077. Those are substantial. Those are bar-setting games that now everybody else looks to and goes, man, we have to compete with that, because look how good they turned out to be, how much the fan base love these games, and we want to try and recreate that in our own games too. So I have a stinking feeling everybody else is going to take a little bit from each other and be like, all right, it's war. Let's see what we can make for the best games we can for our fans, and we're just going to be spoiled as all hell as gamers and come away and be like, oh, we got games. We got all these games.
There's to wrap this up, basically, there's a handful of reasons why PS5 is not coming 2019 and there's no new Xbox coming 2019. Handful of reasons. CPUs are still too expensive.
Yeah, they need the prices on Zen to come down.
Definitely.
Because
things like
in order
that.
to take that next step, the GPU that's used in the Xbox One X could be considered a next-gen GPU, but it's held back, even though it's got quote-unquote custom Jaguar CPU. The Jaguar CPUs need to get hucked in the garbage. And they need to make that next step, because the GPUs are strong enough in the, like, PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X have amazing GPUs, but they're bottlenecked by very cheap CPUs, because CPUs are expensive. Like, you look into building a top of the line PC, your biggest price points where you're going to spend a good majority of your money is your CPU and your GPU. This applies to consoles as well. So CPUs, any insider or software guy will tell you there's the price points on those is supposed to drop substantially in 2019, mid 2019. So there's two options here. PS5 launches in 2019 late with a underwhelming CPU and it's bottlenecked to hell, which I don't see them doing. Or B, it comes in 2020 with a decent CPU with the already great GPU, and they can release it at a reasonable price point.
And some of their studios will actually be ready by that point to make games. They're not going to be ready in 2019. There's no way. But maybe a couple of them could be ready by 2020.
See, the big thing is you look at how everyone's gearing up. You look at how Microsoft's acquiring studios. You look at how Sony's hiring developers. You look at all this stuff. It all points to 2020.
Yes. 2019 is the transition year to get everyone prepped.
2019 is going to be similar to what 2012, early 2013 was for Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PS3. You're going to know about these consoles, and you know they're going to be coming.
Right.
But there's still a ways to go. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with the next generation of consoles. But as we've gone through this podcast and we've talked about all these games that are coming in 2019, and we missed a ton.
Oh, yeah. Ori and the Will of the Wisp and Gears 5, two of my top ones, frankly, we missed. And, I'm looking forward to both. I mean, and it's not a slight. It's just, there's so many games. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
And that's the thing is I think people need to stop worrying about what the next hardware step's going to be and just enjoy the software that we have because we sit there and we always say on social media, it's all about the games. It's all about the games. Yet we're all sitting here 2 years off the next console generation talking about hardware.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like when there is hardware news, we'll talk about hardware news. But until then, this is the only time we're going to address next gen until there's an announcement, frankly, or something major. Like, calm down. It's not happening in 2019. Calm down. Sorry.
Yeah, so it is what it is. I think people need to calm down the next generation talks. I know the super Xbox guys on my feed are too busy focusing on XO18 and what that's going to bring. But I'm sure if they mention anything about next generation, it's going to turn into that conversation again. And I don't understand why my PlayStation friends are hyping up PS5 either. Y'all have an absolutely bomb lineup of games to look forward to before you have to invest in another console. And I'll never understand why people get excited for next generation. I just sit there and stress about how I'm going to afford the console.
Seriously. Like, the games are expensive enough. The console's like, come on, really? But
it's the same thing as my friend. He's sitting there. He's going to buy a PlayStation or at Christmas time or whatever. I'm like, well, next gen's just like a year or two around the corner. He's like, yeah. But he's like, I really want to get a PlayStation Pro. I'm like, so you're going for the most expensive model in the last year. You've managed to tell me through like the past 4 years, PlayStation, you don't need a PlayStation, but now you've decided that you absolutely need one now. I'm like, you're going to need that full year, not even to play new games. You're going to just to play all the old ones.
Yep. No kidding.
And yeah, I just think I've said repeatedly, and I stole it from IGN or Kotaku or someone, we're really in the renaissance of video games right now. There is a video game for everyone right now. And no matter what style of game you like, what IPs you like, there is something out there for you to enjoy. And
it's quite wonderful.
It's absolutely amazing. And
you're spoiled, man.
Just enjoy your games and just have fun.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say, really. We're going to wrap things up here. This has been a really great episode, guys. This is what I love about this podcast is we literally sat here like PS5 talk ate up like 10, 15 minutes at the end. But we literally just spent an hour talking about actual games.
Because that's what matters right now is actual games. Like, you want to worry about something, worry about how you're going to have the money and time to actually buy and play these games. Seriously. That's something to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, I don't know. It's an exciting time to play games. I don't know how I'm going to have all the time to beat all these games. But
and speaking of which, Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out in, this time next week we'll have played
6 days.
Think about that. This time next week we'll have played it.
Yeah, next podcast we'll be talking about it.
Yeah.
Of actually playing
it. So full disclosure, next week is going to be our Red Dead Redemption 2 First Impressions podcast, right, Nick? I think we can throw that out there.
It might have to be later. I have talked to you guys about that, but we will have a podcast on the weekend to talk about it.
Okay, all right.
I can guarantee you guys that.
All right.
So Red Dead Redemption 2, we're going to talk about our first impressions in the next episode. And there's going to be some interesting video content coming on this channel in the next little bit. Me and Sam have been cooking on some stuff, so really stay tuned for that.
Please be excited, is what we will say.
Please
be excited.
I've got an announcement midweek. I've been working on a few things. I just got to confirm them and get them ironed out. Probably get announced probably around Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. There's a lot of good stuff coming, guys. We're cooking here. We're cooking with peanut oil. Duck Dynasty's still cool with the kids, right?
Sure thing.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay, so I feel alone now. So yeah, this has been the Gaming Perspective podcast. We'll do outros now. Sam, where can the good people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Samuel Tolbert. That's Tolbert. I'm always happy to talk with everyone. Always happy to chat about games, movies, tech, TV shows. That stuff's cool. You can find what I write at tickgamesnetwork.com. And like Nick said, we can't go into details or specifics right now, but we have some big plans not only on the website, but also on this YouTube channel and stuff that we're going to be working on. So please be excited.
Yeah, for sure. Jared?
Well, people can find me on Twitter at RageVirus_X or as well at TickGamesNetwork.com. But I don't got anything cooking. I'm just along for the ride, so pay attention to these two.
We're gonna be cooking with Jared too. Don't
count him out.
Yeah, don't count Jared out. He's just gonna get lassoed into things last minute.
Oh, crap.
Like John Marston swinging through to lasso somebody.
Hey, someone's gonna save your butts.
Jared's the one we're tying to the train tracks and waiting for the train to come for 15 minutes.
Oh man! Again,
I am your host. You can follow me on Twitter at Undead3xvi. You can check out my Witching Hour piece, which is on my Twitter and also on the Inner Circle Games Network, where I talk about Outlast and how it made me need a diaper change. So yeah, and don't forget to also, I will use this to plug it, check out the Witching Hour on the Inner Circle Games Network. Absolutely amazing thing that Jason's done for, I don't even know how long Jason's done it. It's been a thing for a long time, but he works his tail off on it, and he's always worked really hard on. And Sam and Jared have also contributed some great pieces as well. So go check out the Witching Hour and the Inner Circle Games Network. It's really awesome. And do not forget to check in. Who needs English? Check out Tick Podcast tonight, which will, as always, be an amazing show. You'll find the links for all of this stuff in the description of this video. I want to thank everybody for coming out. The chat was absolutely amazing tonight. And thank you guys for checking out the Gaming Perspective podcast. We will be back next week talking Red Dead Redemption 2 and all of that gaming goodness. So you guys have a relaxing Saturday night and don't play too hard.